Welcome to Living the Empowered Life channel. My name is Yvonne and this channel is all about bringing you content that's empowering, encouraging and inspiring. So if this is the type of content that you're after, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified of any new uploads. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content. So in today's video, it's really aimed at those of you who are self-employed entrepreneurs. Maybe you're somebody who's thinking about starting your own business. I came across a really interesting article as I was scrolling on my Twitter feed, and it was about the pros and cons of being self-employed. So in this article, a survey was done by the IPSE, and that is the Association of Independent Professionals and the Self-Employed. They're based over here in the UK, and their organisation makes sure that contractors and consultants are properly represented to the government. Now, they've been doing a lot of work alongside a movement called Excluded 3 Mil to highlight the gaps in support to self-employed people. Over here, there are 3 million people who are self-employed in different industries that have not received any financial support from the government whatsoever since March. And just going on Twitter and seeing their stories and seeing how it's affected them has been quite heartbreaking, because, you know, people have put a lot of time and effort into their businesses, and all of a sudden their businesses have now had to close down. They've had to sell their homes, sell their belongings, because they just don't have any money and they have no support. So the IPSE and the Excluded 3 Mil movement are lobbying the government and trying to see if they can get support for the 3 million people that are falling through the gaps. I can empathise with those that are going through that, because in about May this year, I was actually wondering for a minute whether I was going to be able to survive the pandemic with my business, because some of my contracts automatically just shut down because, you know, businesses shut down. Thanks be to God, the online space has opened up a real source of income for me, and I've been able to pivot my business. But I want to share with you the findings of this survey. 70% said not having to deal with bureaucracy and office politics. I can definitely relate to this. One of the major reasons that pushed me out of the door when I was in traditional employment was that my mental health could not stand being in that environment. It was a toxic environment, a horrible environment to be in. Even though I was able to learn many different things that have further helped me in my career and business, the environment wasn't good for me. And this wasn't the first job I had this problem. There were other jobs where I had that problem, but it took me a while to understand that I was just not cut out for these environments. 70% said greater overall flexibility. I definitely love that about being self-employed. I love the fact that I can adjust my day accordingly. If work comes in, I can, you know, put other work first, or, you know, put it on the back burner. I love having the flexibility around the start time and the end time of my day. That definitely does help me, because I'm quite a creative person, and in being creative you do need to have that flexibility and that room to do so. 69% said being their own boss was a pro on their mental health. I have definitely loved being my own boss. Because I have a vision of the things I want to do and a plan to get there. I have no problems working for myself. I'm quite a self-driven person. I know what I need to do at different times, so being my own boss definitely suits me. 67% said control over their own work. I definitely agree with that. I love having control over the work that I do. 65% said the freedom to choose where to work. Most of the time I work from my office here at home, unless I'm going out to meetings with clients or doing contracting work. But since March, a lot of my work has been virtually online. 58% said greater control of working hours. As I've just mentioned, I love being able to decide, you know, the hours that I work. Being able to do a variety of different work. 53% said that has really had a good effect on their mental health. I can definitely say that variety of work has made me definitely happier. I think being a square peg in a round hole definitely did not suit me, because in all the jobs that I did, even though I did a variety of different things within those jobs, I was just pigeonholed to do one thing. Where now, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, I get to use all my skills and talents, and I love that. 50% said earning more money. I can definitely see potential in this. I'm still somebody who is relatively new in my business. There have been times during my self-employed journey of getting contracts that I've earned more in a month than I did in like 2-3 months salary. And I can see once that becomes consistent, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, I will definitely be agreeing with that. 47% said better work-life balance. On the whole, I would say my work-life balance is okay. Since I have been working for myself, because I'm a lot more happier and more focused, I find that I'm more productive in my home. I'm able to pour into my husband and my daughter better and pay attention to more things when it comes to my family. When I was working for traditional employment, I used to come home stressed a lot of the time. But there is a danger with that also as well, because, you know, it can be quite tempting to work 6 days a week or 7 days a week, or spend a couple of hours on a day which is meant to be a day off or a family day doing things. So you do have to set the boundaries when it comes to your work life and your family life. 39% said pursuing a passion and being creative has had a huge benefit on their mental health. I totally agree with this. This was one of my top reasons why I love being an entrepreneur. I love being my own boss, because I'm getting to pursue a passion, a purpose, and getting to create many great things along the way. And 21% said working alone rather than in a team. I'm most effective when I'm working by myself. I get a lot done. I'm able to concentrate. I'm able to put together ideas quite quickly. But also as well, I do know how to work in a team and be a team player, because that is important when you're in business. As you have clients, you have to be able to work alongside other people. So in terms of the cons of being self-employed, 53% said finding work. Yep, that is definitely hard, especially when you're just starting out and you don't really know how to put your business across to people that you are trying to potentially get to work with you. 50% said not having regular income has a negative effect on their mental health. Yes, that can be quite hard. I have had that along my journey, and it is not easy. It really, really isn't. And I can see why that has rated so highly. 32% said the blurring of boundaries between work and home life has had an effect on their mental health. At times, obviously, lines can get a little bit blurred, but it's not something that I would say has an effect on my mental health. It just means that I have to be more stricter with the boundaries. And I'm still not there yet, you know. It's just a learning thing that you have to continuously be aware of and do. 29% said not having access to statutory employment like sick pay, holiday pay. But in all honesty, I think that that is one of the risks that you take on when you become self-employed. And it's something that, you know, you have to account for, because unlike traditional employment, there is no safety net. If you want to have days off, you have to have money put aside, I suppose. But I can definitely see why people would say this is something that has a huge effect on their mental health. 28% working long hours on tight deadlines. I suppose if you're somebody who has big projects and doesn't have a lot of staff to help you, you're just starting out and you're taking on a lot of work because, you know, it's work. That's one of the things I think for a lot of self-employed people, they feel that they can't say no to contracts or can't say no to work because, again, it's that thing of regular income. You don't know when the next income is coming in. 26% said late payment by clients. Fortunately, I have not had that problem. A lot of my clients always pay on time, but I can see that that does have a stress on people because you're depending on getting that money on a certain day of the month because you've got bills to pay, you've got outgoings. You know, it can put pressure on somebody. 25% said managing finances, savings, taxes. At the beginning of my self-employed journey, I was not thinking like that because my mindset was still in the traditional way of being paid, you know, once every month. Because I was in that system of traditional employment for 23 years, it's taken a long time for my mind to get into a new way of thinking when it comes to finances. And I'm still not there yet, but I have started to separate accounts for taxes, savings, and making sure I've got enough money to cover my bills and outgoings that are coming out every month. So I'm getting there slowly. Now, it is hard because I'm not on the same money I was, you know, 2-3 years ago, but I have no doubt that that will pick up. 24% of people feel lonely and isolated, and they said this has an effect on their mental health. I don't really have that problem, but I can see that, you know, other people might do if they don't have people around them. One of the things that really helps me not to feel lonely and isolated, and I know it sounds weird, is that every Friday I take myself off out for a few hours, just get amongst people. You know, I go for a coffee, I take my book, I go for a walk, and that helps me to reconnect with people in a way. 22% said administrative tasks, accounting and bookkeeping has an effect on their mental health. For me, that has not been a problem because I come from an administrative background of many years. So I find that doing admin and things of that nature is not really a tough task for me. It's just about getting yourself organised and getting things organised and doing it within time. Just from having conversations with other people who are self-employed, one of the problems that they do have is that they leave things to the last minute. They don't record receipts or invoices as soon as they come in and they leave them to pile up. I think a good thing to do is to be pre-prepared and organised when it comes to administrative tasks. 19% said the lack of support and advice has an effect on their mental health. 18% said dealing with clients. Wow, those clients must be pretty stressful. Maybe it might not even be that they're being difficult. Maybe it's just probably because of what they're requesting of them. 14% said not regularly receiving feedback. The only thing I can say to that is that really you should just ask for feedback. That's what I do. When I do a piece of work, I ask for feedback on the work. We do self-evaluation forms, for instance, with the training, or if I do an event. Those I use towards testimonials on my website. Also, in the survey, they did have a question about the negative impact on freelancers during the coronavirus pandemic. As a result of job-related stress, almost half said they feel less productive. I have definitely felt this during this pandemic, especially at the beginning. I went through a period of procrastination and feeling really discouraged. 48% said depressed or anxious. I've definitely experienced this as well. And 47% said loss of sleep over worry. All three of these things I have definitely felt during this pandemic. And the last thing they shared was that just over a fifth, 22%, said they have lost clients because of job-related stress. Wow, so not that they've lost clients because of the pandemic, but because of job-related stress. I wonder what that could be about. So this has been an interesting survey, and I can definitely see how mental health has been impacted both negatively and positively from being self-employed. Some of these things I can definitely relate to, other things I can't. But it doesn't mean somewhere down the line that it might not resonate with me. At the moment, I'm reading a really interesting book by Marie H. I can't say her surname quite yet, but she is Mrs. Rodell. She does skincare products about turning your failures into success. And, her book has been quite a sobering read just because she talks about still facing similar things to some of the pros and cons that I've shared on this list. And I will be doing a book review on her book shortly. But I just thought it would be interesting to share this survey. It's definitely given me a lot of food for thought, thinking about, the self-employed journey. And I'm going to be doing a video soon about my entrepreneur journey so far. I was meant to do it back in April, but obviously the pandemic hit and lots of different things have been going on. But let me know if you're self-employed or a creative or contractor or consultant. Let me know a pro or a con for you in being self-employed. I would love for you to share that. But that's it for now, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.